Oh, what's up, everybody? I know the sound of cans and stuff being knocked around. What's up, everybody? You already know who it is. Targeted individual CJBK. Um, Shooting here live in Brooklyn. You already know I ain't hiding. I don't got nothing to hide. Um, this video, as you can see, the quality is different. This is my laptop. I hardly ever turn on my laptop. Most of the time because I do so many things from my cell phone. But anyway, so this video, because I feel like, you know, based on my surroundings and based on my targeting, I have no idea how long I'm gonna have, to live or whatever. Um, so what I have to do, I have to start living in the present and putting out whatever I have been doing, whatever works for me. I have to put it out as much as I can. Um, I don't necessarily have helicopters following me like most other TIs, uh, but I just consider it non-related that the fact that a helicopter just flew over my head as I'm recording this video, like literally flew right over this building. So it's like, I know some TIs would be like, see, they're following me. I mean, I'm not going to say that that's not true for other TIs, but for me personally, I haven't really noticed any like police following me or helicopters. Most of my targeting is basically related to um, handlers, and then you got like, let's call them civilian perps or civilian gang stalkers. The handlers are referring to themselves as a secret society, and I'm like, well, for the most part, yeah, you all probably are a subdivision of much of a secret society that's also a part of an umbrella of other secret societies that lead up to one, which is basically the Illuminati, which is probably the main one. That's the ones that lead all the way up to like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, not even the Gates. Well, maybe the Gates too, because the Gates, BlackRock. Basically most of the people who are in those Davos group meetings in Switzerland. You know. Anyway, so what I want to do with this video is I want to show people everything that I'm doing that helps me overcome, you know, not all of my electronic harassment, not all of my attacks or anything, but I'm going to go through as thoroughly as I possibly can. And I'm pretty sure that when I finish with this video, they're going to try to see if they can interfere with the uploading process. Because usually, every time I try to upload something really informative, they'll mess with the server connection between my device and YouTube, and they'll like interfere with the data being transferred back and forth or whatever, basically causing the time remaining to upload the video to stretch out to some extravagant times like 20 something hours, 30 something hours, something like that. But anyway, so first thing first, because I want to start from the very beginning. Um, because my original targeting started in, I want to believe it was March of 2020, because that's when that dude had that whole little thing in the hallway of the building that I used to live in. When I had moved to the Bronx, I had moved there in September of 2019. Then all of a sudden, I mean, I was cool with just about anybody there. Cause I mean, well, I just moved there, you know, never had any problems with anybody. It took me a while to even get to know a few people, but whatever. Then all of a sudden, here comes March of 2020. It was like the same weekend of my birthday or whatever. Some young girl in her 20s, she goes running out into the hallway, screaming, "Somebody call the police! He hit me!" My homegirl with me, she just visiting New York. She just visiting, and then she's like, "Chris, you should go out there and check it out. Make sure she not getting killed." Now, in my mind, I'm sitting on like the edge of my couch, just basically like listening, because I'm like, all I heard was her yell that out, but I didn't necessarily hear like any thuds or a sound of struggle. So my initial reaction was to wait till I hear sounds of struggle, but because people play around with shit like that all the time. Someone call the police, da da da. People play around with shit like that all the time. Now, but whatever, she was just like, Chris, you should go out there and check on men where I'm from. They don't play that men beating on women shit. So I was just like, all right. Long story short, went out there. There was nothing really happening. Just the dude trying to play keep away with her cell phone. She's like, "Give me back my phone. Give me back my phone." And then he looks over at me. He just like side eyes, rolls his eyes, and give her back her phone. Then my friend, she goes and checks on the girl. Like she comes from around me and checks on the girl. She's like, "Girl, you all right?" And I'm just standing there. I don't say not one word. The dude's mom walk over to me and she's like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you and da da da." I'm just like, "Nah, you cool, you cool." And I'm getting chills as I'm telling the story, because anytime I get chills, it means I'm telling the truth. 'Cause like I said, I ain't got nothing to hide. So so basically, I'm like, go ahead and let yourself be recorded too. So I'm like, um, so I'm like, don't even worry about it. Stuff happens, whatever. Then all of a sudden, my friend, she goes, "Chris, let me get your phone so I can call the police." I'm in my head like, I don't think we need to. I mean, she got her phone back, but I mean, they were adamant about calling police. I was like, I didn't even think about it like that hard. I was just like, I shit. So, because I was like, I'm thinking to myself, well, at the end of the day, when them operators get that call, who are they recording? They're recording her voice, the person who called, right? And all of a sudden, I'm just like, I don't even think nothing about it. Honestly, I really didn't think nothing about it. I did not think it was gonna blow back on me at some point, because I gave her my phone so she could call the police for a woman who had blood on her. I ain't really think it was gonna blow back on me. But anyway, so look, Jesus, that's what happens when you try to be righteous, right? You try to be moral. But anyway, so fast forward, right? You know, between March of 2020 and like October of 2020, throughout that whole entire time, it was a whole bunch of like, I guess sensitization, brain mapping type stuff. People like a woman's voice screaming "woo" random times of the day, especially when I'm watching TV. Tapping on the bathroom wall, and there's always like the same particular sound. It goes, and it's that same exact tone every single time, every single time. Or like the pump the pump for the toilet, like just flushing by itself. The water doesn't actually go down. It just the water, the pump was just literally making the sound as if it was flush. What you just saw me do just now, because I've developed more sensitivity to well, I became hyper electrosensitive, right? So I can basically feel when they're trying to heterodyne, because usually it's always they do both ears at the same time. It'll come both at the same time, and you will feel the pitch go up. What I just did is, because I've learned and studied, at least for a pretty good deal of it, is even though it's technology, there's still physics behind it. Even though it's digital, there's still physics behind it. So basically, what I'm doing when I do that, right? All energy have a mass, whether it's photon light or phonon sound. It all has a mass to it. Now, because energy actually can be absorbed, deflected, or well, basically just stopped altogether. Um, I've learned that I could literally grab a frequency beam. I could literally grab it. So like heterodyne is basically when they take two frequencies and they when they take two frequencies that are different, and then they basically converge it onto this like one. I guess the brain would be considered an antenna. I'm just trying to paraphrase it as best as I can in the most simplest way. Um, Basically taking two frequencies and you converge them on a point, and then the brain will then I guess resonate with the frequency that was transmitted, and then your brain will actually send back the mirroring of the frequencies that was sent in. Once they make that connection, then they basically have you linked up to the cloud, or they can just constantly transmit data to and from your brain. But anyway, but yeah, all that brain mapping stuff that they were doing, it eventually got to the point where, long story short, they were trying to, get revenge on me for giving her my phone so then that she can call the cops. Call the cops. And then basically what happened was also, oh, during quarantine, the handlers, they said he was what they say? They said he was smoking a lot. He wasn't moving properly. And I'm thinking to myself, what? Because I was smoking weed during the quarantine and I got furloughed from two jobs. I've always had at least one job, but I also most of the time maintained two jobs. Shoot, there was a time where I had four jobs. So I'm not a lazy person. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not a lazy person. So they was like, he wasn't moving properly. And then he was smoking. And then what else? Oh, he was taking pictures of people. I've never taken pictures of people. When I was up there, it was one day during the summertime where it was like 98 degrees, right? And then I seen this big dude. It was a big dude. But he had on this like red fur robe, or it was like a red like I don't know. It just looked hot as hell, and I was like, "What the fuck is he doing?" So I took one picture, and then I blurred out all the faces of anyone else in the picture, right? Blur out the picture. I even deleted the original picture and just kept the edited picture, right? And I just made a meme was like it's like 98 degrees outside. Homie out here with a robe. Like, and I was just like, what? So that's the only picture I ever taken, right? And then they're like, he be taking pictures of people. And I'm just like, whatever. Now, what else? Okay, fast forward all that. Um, fast forward all the hospital stuff and realizing, yeah, the medical industry is a part of it. Just about every sector of society has somebody that's a part of gang stalking in it, and most of it is mostly due to the extortion process of it. Once they get you linked up to the cloud, then they basically extract your electrical um, data, or your bioelectric data, your frequencies, your memories. They upload it, decode it, get it into video or image form, and then they will tell you things about yourself, or tell you, oh, we're gonna take this information and we're gonna share it with people if you don't do what we tell you to do. They were like, oh, whatchamacallit. What they told me was I had to become a police officer, um, because when I was freaked out about the whole V2K thing, I went to the hospital because I was like, I'm hearing voices in my head that's not mine, you know. And that was just the very beginning of it. That was like the first 2 or 3 days. The first 2 or 3 days. Because I didn't know what the hell was happening to me. I was like, what the fuck is this? You know. Anyway, so um, I'm not sure how much of it is V2K or how much of it is actually, the neighboring perps watching and reacting to everything I'm saying. But anyway, first thing that I learned, because I done gave about like 15, 16 minutes of just straight up talking about how all this started. But anyway, basically, once I realized I can't get no help from the medical industry, I had to learn all this. Well, first of all, it was through Jesus Christ that let me know that I am going to be sought after by some very dark energy. It came in a dream. Had sleep paralysis and everything. Um, the figure in my dream was actually the guy from the hallway. I didn't think about it until I didn't think about it really until like a couple days after that first initial dream or whatever. But yeah, the person in my dream was the actual guy from the it was the actual guy from I'm like what I'm like, where is this water coming from? My bad. Anyway, yeah, the actual guy from the whole domestic incident, it was him in my dream. And shortly after, I learned about dream manipulations and lucid dreams and how they can put people in your dreams, people you don't know, people you do know, things of that sort. But anyway, first thing I learned was earplugs. Earplugs, either 32 or even higher, but I've been told by some TIs to use two different, decibel earplugs. What the earplugs did for me was it helped me decipher the difference between transmissions and the actual physical vibrational audio in my surroundings. So when I put on, like, let's say if I put on my earplugs now, I would just hear mostly straight V2K. But I would hear I would hear slight, I would hear my surrounding environment a little bit, but for the most part, I would hear like just straight V2K if I threw my earplugs on. Um, what else? Shortly after learning about the earplugs, I then got into portable grounding. Um, okay, so Tony Pentalaresco, his YouTube channel is Herbs HERBS plus PLUS bead BEAD works WORKS. Herbs plus bead works. Oh, it might be work. And he basically was building like all of these very cheap and um easy to build like devices, and everything that he was talking about devices, it all had like he explained the physics behind it all, and it all made sense. So I started trying one thing out at a time. First thing I did was okay, well, I don't have any more whatchamacallit, any more neodymium magnets available. So all right, this is basically a piece of copper sheet, right? um yeah, I don't think I have any more magnets or anything like that. Okay, well, the neodymium magnet one came off of my fan, but I'll explain that later. Pretend this is this is magnetic hematite, but it's not going to be strong enough to show you the full rep- repulsion of it. This is a magnetic hematite, right? And then this, well, my bad. Hold on, give me a second. I'll explain why there's like this glue-like stuff on this magnet later. Um, okay. So, magnetic hematite. This is a neodymium magnet, right? Okay, so basically, um, if you okay, let's just say if you were to take two pretend this is a neodymium magnet too, right? Now, well, you can feel it. I can feel it a little bit. Basically, you would take the two magnets and you would put them together so that they're repelling each other, right? Then you would take the copper sheet and you would wrap the two repelling magnets. You would wrap the copper sheet around the two repelling magnets. Now, what I did, because it's a neodymium magnet and it's among the most powerful magnetic materials, um, or earth materials, I used like a stick. I got one. But basically, I would take like a wooden stick, or maybe, or probably something plastic, something that wouldn't be able to bend or break, and I would stick it through the hole, and then take the other magnet, making sure that it's repelling, and stick that together through the hole too. Then what I would do is I would take the copper sheet, place it, probably poke a hole right through it, stick the stick through, and then while I'm pressing the magnets together and the stick is sticking out, I would just wrap the copper sheet around the two magnets. Now, for the most part, you probably can just go ahead and either take the stick out and it won't pull apart, or sometimes the magnets might actually be strong enough to actually separate themselves even inside the copper sheet. Then what you would do, this, okay? Let me explain this part. This is copper wire. Oh, see, copper wire. What you would do, these are alligator clips. Alligator clips. So basically, what you would do, you would take a copper wire, right, and you place alligator clips on each end of the copper wire, right? You would take your magnetic copper piece, right, and you clip one end of the magnetic copper piece um, to an alligator clamp, and then the other end, the way Tony explains it, it can be anything that's metal, anything that can be used as a conductive of energy or electricity. So it could be your keys, it could be a belt buckle, as long as it's not touching your skin. Because this part, this part here is going to be the most interesting part about it all. Is because what this does is what people don't realize about what's happening to the world is because the earth is encased in this like ball, this sphere of like man-made frequencies, radiation, data. Basically the world is being made into like this complete holographic um dimension, or basically is blurring the lines between um our three-dimensional world and then other dimensions by infusing, you know, um, the natural world with all this quantum technology that's basically blurring the lines between the dimensions. Trust and believe, there's probably going to come a time where we're actually going to be able to see demons, and people are going to lose their fucking mind. Um, and I think the moment I see someone actually react to something that they probably deserve to see, I'm probably gonna say, you wouldn't be scared if you had God in your heart. Anyway, um, now you could tell, you could tell if because that's not the V2K. That's not the V2K. Anyway, so you would take this part, right, with the magnets inside, and you would like clip it to like not clip it, but you would like place it against your body. So it could be like somewhere along your hip, and you would place that part against your body, and then the other end will be clipped to like your keys or something like that. What's happening is the magnets, the magnets and the copper sheet together, because our our spiritual energy actually produces an aura, an energy aura around us, right? But because of the technology or the light, the proton beam, it basically back up a little more. It basically pierces right through the crown. It pierces through the top of our energy, right? And then you'll know if you're linked to the cloud by this one particular fact. The rest of your head may have cool spots, right? The rest of your head may, like, hands loose, just relax. Your head is going to have probably three to five different oddly warm spots. They're going to be oddly warm spots, and these warm spots are like no bigger than a quarter. But the one spot that you will particularly notice that's always going to be hot and then also has what's like a magnetic type of energy to it is right here. Why right here? Because coming from the top, going straight to the middle of your head, you will find your pineal gland. Your pineal gland is basically considered the doorway to the spiritual energy. The pineal gland is basically considered the tuning station of your emotional well being, your emotional status. What this technology is basically because light can actually pass through bone and skull and everything like that, just depending on the amplification of the frequency wave or whatever. 4G, 5G. Um, it can pass through the skull and stimulate or overflow cells with light. You can use light to either harm a cell or you can use light to either heal a cell. It's all based on the amplification or the modification rather of the frequency wave. Um, but yeah, basically what happens is once that light is connected to us, it basically weakens our aura. It weakens our aura, and they can also tune your emotional state. Once they can tune your emotional state, that also brings down your frequencies too. The lower your frequency, the weaker your aura is going to be. Aura, your chi, chakra energy, it's good. Like technology is basically there to weaken your will. It's basically there to take away your ability to control, well, to at least give you the impression that it's taking away your ability to control yourself. But like I said, if you lean on God and you ask God the right questions or ask the holy angels to come in and help brace you for whatever's happening to you, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. All right, 3252. So basically, um, because they're also weakening our defenses, our Wei Chi, as the Eastern culture medicine would call it. Um, Once our Wei Chi is weakened, then they can basically start using the directed energy to hit us wherever they want. They focus primarily on like you know I would get like the feeling as if like there's like a hot gas or hot air that's basically passing through my skull and then it goes into my head and it feels like my head is like filling up with air pressure. And sometimes if I can actually channel that pressure because it literally feels like air. I can channel that pressure from my head and it's like when I open my sinuses, right? When I open my sinuses and I tilt my head in certain directions, I could feel as if, let's say, there's a cup inside of my head, right? And I want to try to and I want to, and I want to try to see if I can take some of the liquid out. So I have to spill some of it out. So basically, what I would do is I'll be shifting my head around and whatnot. And then as I'm shifting my head around and I have my sinuses open, all of a sudden I would feel this rushing pressure of like air that would kind of like it would come out of the skull, and then it may come, most of the time it usually just comes down, and then it might try to circulate through the back of the throat, and then next thing you know I will feel it come up and right out through my mouth, like literally right out through my mouth. Same thing happened with the chest. So like, let's say if they were focusing these quantum particles on my chest, the heart chakra, it would basically come in right through the chest, right? Um, I'm skipping a couple of things, but I'll come back. I'll explain this later. Um, I would take my hand and I would create like kind of like a magnetic tension. I'm gonna tell you guys about Wei Chi, well Qigong in a little bit. But basically, you can create a magnetic force with your bare hands. You can create a magnetic pull with your hands. So basically, what I learned to do, right, is I would take my hand, and you could actually, the more practice, the more you could actually feel the energy of their quantum particles rushing into your body. Like it's literally like you would feel, the first thing you would feel is the thermal. You would feel the heat of the energy. And for whatever reason, I can't remember where I seen it, but something I read, it explains that the body is split in half, right? And for whatever reason, the right side is usually always the side that and I'm getting chills as I'm saying it, the right side is usually the side that um it's like the dark, magic worshippers or Luciferians or whatever. That's the side they always attack the most. I think it has something to do with the right side being the aggressive side, and the left side is supposed to be the passive side. Something like that. I forgot where I read it. But anyway, I would take my hand and just do this. Now, even while I'm doing it now, so you see, all I'm doing is just creating a wave or pulling, right? So as I'm doing this, like doing that motion right there, I'm pulling, like it feels like, I guess, quantum energy. I'm pulling it out of my chest. So I'm pulling it out, and even while I'm pulling that out, I could feel even more like coming from like the belly, like the bottom of my belly, or like the pit of, like, I don't know, the torso. When I pull forward like this, I could feel the rush of energy going to my hand, and then all of a sudden, as I spread my hand a little bit more, I could feel heat spreading. I could feel the heat spreading. But it's not just heat. There's also part two, the magnetism. There is a very strong magnetic field to this whole thing. Because remember, we're dealing with electromagnetic frequencies. So people don't realize that the human body, is conductive. The human body is basically highly conductive to energy in general. And because the globe is completely, digitalized, and there's all these different frequencies and radiation, people don't realize, they think the sun's radiation is probably the most harmful to us all. There are tens of thousands of satellites that's constantly beaming down this light based radiation onto Earth. And we are so focused on the sun. But yet we're not realizing that these elitists, They said that they were spraying these micro metal particles in the atmosphere to help protect the earth from the sun's radiation, or to actually control the amount of heat that is, being produced from, I guess, the sun, or global pollution, smog, whatever excuses they came up with. But the thing is, the thing that makes me think, right? Why spray chemicals in the air to fix a problem that could literally be changed if all we have to do is change? So that's when I started to learn that they are spraying smart dust or nanotechnology in this guy, because nano is, you can't see nano. You can't see it. You could probably feel it when you get a good amount of it, in your vicinity, or you get a good amount of it. You could feel it. Um, you build a nano bucket like Tony Pintaresco does in his channel, and you could feel it. 41. Okay, but for the most part, yeah, we are literally surrounded by a lot of nanotechnology that's easily controllable. We're surrounded by all these different frequencies that have raw energy potentials just sitting in the air. Um, there's so many different things that are happening, and of course, none of this stuff is just truly out there for us to just easily find. You gotta piece things together. One of the best ways to learn about this technology: pay attention to your body. I know you heard me say this in previous videos. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to what's actually happening to your body. Your hands. Use your hands. Palpate and feel your body, especially areas that they're protecting, that they're attacking. Like, for one, when I place let's say what they attack often is like the ligaments of my left knee, or they'll attack the meniscus of my left knee, right? I would place my right hand, or place either one of my hands on my left knee, right, exactly where they're attacking me. First thing I notice, the temperature difference. There's always a thermal difference in your body when they're attacking you. There's always a thermal difference, and it's usually a spot. It's usually not a whole big waft area, because remember, they're basically taking, you know, like a frequency beam, and they're directing it into a point. So that's the first thing I notice, is the thermal difference between, like one side of the head and the other side, or whatever. And some people would say, "Oh, but the the human body loses at least 80% of its heat through the head." Yeah, but they're talking about the whole head. There's not a reason why there should be heat spots here, 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 here. What else? For the most part, they mostly have beams connected to your auditory cortex, memory processing, visual cortex, pineal gland, and what else? As far as the skull, well, I guess you could say the thyroid too, because they definitely hit that a lot too. They attack all your glands. Your glands help you control your energy. They attack your glands, so then you just anyway. So yeah, we have all these frequencies, all this energy, this raw energy that's constantly always coming in contact with our body, right? Now, back to this. What you would do is you would take this part and you would place it against your skin. Now, what's happening when you place it against your skin? The energy that's tracing over the skin of your body, so like just me doing it like this, the energy is trace is now being pulled onto because of the magnets. The magnets are pulling the energy from your body, the energy that's not necessarily part of your body. Trust me, your body will definitely protect itself to a point, where you're not giving out too much energy. Because remember, they're sucking the energy from us. They're literally sucking the energy from us. They're using radiation to break down our protective Wei Qi so then they can suck the life force from us. And then on top of that, they have to induce fear so then they can create what's called loosh, which I learned about 2 days ago. Loosh is basically the energy that's produced when you fear something. And what I've learned lives off of the energy produced by fear, the beast itself. The beast itself. So now, right, the energy will then transfer from your body to this, going into the alligator clip. Then it will transfer through the copper wire, and then whatever you have this other end clipped to, it'll transfer right into that metal part. Just make sure it's not attached to your body. Make sure the part that you're clipping the other end to is not touching your body at all. It can't touch your body at all, or else it's like recycling that same harmful energy. Now, that was the portable grounding. Next thing that I started doing was he showed me how to build a grounding mat. Okay. Now, this is just my little rough rendition of it. It's not the most perfect looking one, but it was a starter. Um, I was so happy about myself when I started doing all these things because I used to just watch the videos and just be like, man, I remember when I used to do that as a kid. I used to like be into building stuff all the time, whatever. Anyway, this is copper sheet. This is basically, it's literally just a sheet of copper, right? On the other end is aluminum foil. Now, same concept, just like the portable grounding device. This one you could just leave in your home, right? You take one end of the alligator clamp. Just set this on the floor. You take one end. Oh, and something random for me to point out. Not too long ago, I did a post on Facebook where I noticed um the price variations for copper. Copper actually was having some, between like I want to say like 2007 and what? How far back I went? Yeah, like 2007 to about 2019, late 2019. Um, Copper was going pretty much up and down between like um, what was this? Somewhere between like 5,500 to about, I think at tops in 2019 was probably about like maybe 8,000 or something like that. And all of a sudden, two significant things. No, not even 2019. It was before that. Two significant things happened. No, I guess I could say 2019 because two significant things happened. I realized around that time. Was it 2019 or 2018? It might have been 2018. One was the rollout of 5G towers. That's when I started to notice particular spike in the price of copper. And then when came like the quarantine or like countries started to fully report COVID, that's when the price of copper started going up even more. So I was just like, hmm, that's interesting to note. Because then it was through Tony P, on his YouTube channel that I found out copper has a lot of copper is definitely very, very useful. It's very, very useful. Um, Especially when it comes to conductivity and electricity and energy and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah. Like I said, you attach one end of the alligator clamp to the copper sheet and aluminum foil. Remember, you stand on the copper sheet, not the aluminum foil. The copper is the one that's more conductive than the aluminum foil. Place your feet down on the copper sheet, and then you would basically take um yeah, and you would clip the other end of the alligator clamp copper wire to something metal. Now, what's happening right now, I can explain it to you. One, it doesn't nothing that I've done so as far as doing anything for making a defense or anything to help me with my electronic harassment ever cost me more than $60. Nothing ever really caused any harm to me or any right. Nothing ever really nothing broke me to make these things. Nothing broke me at all. So yeah, so basically what's happening is I know some of you probably have heard of what's called earth grounding. Basically, when you take your shoes off, take your shorts off, and socks off, and you go and walk on, like, let's say, a field of grass or some dirt, or you go and, stand in some salt water, like saltwater ocean or whatever. Basically, what's happening is, with earth grounding, the earth is is basically a equalization of energy. Your body is resonating with the earth, and the earth is balancing your energy. The earth can actually heal you. The more earth grounding you do, because remember, illness and diseases thrive based on the environment of the host. So if you have too much harmful or ionized radioactive energy inside your body, then you're more likely to fall into, having diseases, illnesses, aches and pains and things of that sort. But anyway, so what's happening right now is there is first thing you're going to notice is your feet start to tingle and vibrate. Don't be afraid of that. First, it starts to tingle and vibrate. What's that? What that is that's happening is the energy that they're basically pushing into your body. And I'm going to go into more explanation of behind the whole, tech part and the energy stealing and what it could be used for and things of that sort. Um, Basically is taking the energy that your body doesn't need and it's pulling it out from the bottom of your feet. Because, let me see, I said I wanted to try to see if I can do this too while I do this recording. So, all right. Um, okay. All right. So, you see how. Okay. So, you see, this is basically supposed to be an example of how energy um, how energy fields basically work and how they circulate, going north and south, right? So imagine human body standing there. Let's see. Yeah, this will work. So see how the human body is standing there. Basically, what they're doing is they're taking their light, their photon energy light, and they're beaming it straight down through. They're basically beaming it straight down through your crown chakra, and then they're basically connecting it to your pineal gland. Once they connect it to your pineal gland, then they are basically connecting themselves to all the other energy points of your body to try to control how you function. Um, Let me see what else. There's so much information, but I'm trying not to just unload everything on one video. But yeah, so as the energy is coming down, um, energy in a good way is supposed to be able to hit all the different points of your chakras and revitalize you, right? But if it's harmful radioactive energy, like the ones that's coming from like these cell towers and the satellites that they're using to, link us all to this, this cloud server, this nano mafia cloud server, um, um, is basically um, is basically disrupting our energy flow. Ooh, I got some stuff I got to tell you. But anyway, yeah, it's basically pulling out the energy from my body that my body doesn't need, and then it's transferring it to the screwdriver. So that's one thing. Um, Next thing, this bugger right here. I know you've seen me pull this out in a couple of my other videos too. This is what you would call a I guess Tony called it a force field wand. Basically, the concept is this is all neodymium magnets, right? Remember what I told you about the stick? I use the stick to keep them all in line so that they don't separate, north and south. They'll pull apart, but because I have this, great tape wrapped around it, it's not going to pull apart. And because I got the stick in between, it's not going to separate north south. Basically, what this does is because, like I said before, there is a layer of frequency energy, man-made frequency energy that's very radioactive, um, and it basically messes with just about every system of our entire human body. What this does is because there's so many of these magnets that's taped together that's repelling, it's creating a huge force field, right? Like it's literally creating a force field that pushes out. By me wrapping my hand around it, right? And there's also something behind um I'll probably include I'm gonna include some links in the description. Um Basically, um our hands, like I told you, our hands have a magnetic pull to it, right? When I wrap my hand around it, first thing that's happening is my energy is now reacting to the energy being pushed out of the wand. But it's not only my energy, it's also the energy that they're surrounding or encasing my body with. So now what that's also doing is it's also fighting or nullifying the energy that's surrounding my body. Because the energy that's constantly surrounding our body, it's flowing. It's flowing. But by holding this in my hand, it's breaking the flow. It's breaking the flow of their energy interacting with my body. So as I'm saying it, they're trying to attack me right here in my chest, but I can feel because I know each finger of the hands have particular electromagnetic emissions for different parts of the body. The energy they tried to shoot me with right here in my chest, I literally felt it shoot in my palm. And that little spark, it literally felt like a vibrating spark of energy. It shot, they tried to hit me right here in my chest, but then it all of a sudden, it shot through my palm and into the wand and bloop, gone. So this is an energy nullifier. Um, Want to see something else that's cool? I learned this like the first couple of weeks or month of being targeted, right? At least the electronic harassment part. Now, I don't even know how I figured this out, but by holding the wand just like this with just my index finger and my thumb, I have learned that just by holding it, you will eventually start to feel a buildup of weight, not just because your hands are getting tired. No, and I got strong hands, but it's actually collecting because now I can actually feel the heat of the beam. So like, yeah. So on one end, it's actually collecting the energy from the beams that they're using, right? You could even use it to go over your body, right? Use it to go over your body, and you will feel it collecting. You will feel it collecting so much energy that eventually it starts to pull and turn on its own. Now, watch that again. Like they're trying not to do as much, but still you will feel the energy. That's something else I learned too. Is especially when you're sitting outside, that's when they really get bold. So when you're sitting outside, they can increase, I guess, the space or the range of the photon concentration. They can make it into like a big space, and you can stick your hand out like this, and you will feel the weight of photon energy pressing down and radiating your body. If you're ever outside and you feel your whole body vibrating, just stick your hand out like this. If you feel your hand being pushed down, you're definitely being radiated. But yeah, this basically nullifies the frequencies. Um yeah, I'm gonna include a link that show you more information about electromagnetic emission from the body, which fingers are responsible for what. Like something else I'm gonna show you. So okay, real quick. I mean, it's gonna be like reversed or anything. Uh, Image provided by Dr. Beverly Rubik. So let's see. Can you see? Well, yeah, I'm probably gonna try to reverse this image anyway. So yeah, you can see that the thumb, forefinger, middle finger, they all have particular, you know, emissions of electromagnetic fields. What I also learned is that if I take my hand, right, take my hand, relax a little bit. Now, remember I told you they're connected to your, let me see, auditory cortex should be somewhere about like right here. Memory processing is here. Take your hand and just put it to the side of you, just like that. You may begin to feel pressure. If you move your hand forward, you may begin to feel pressure on the side of your head here. That's because that is the frequency being that's connected to your memory processing. And then notice how my hand kind of go at an angle like this. That's because up here, like right where my fingers are at, that, let me turn to the side. So, oh, that's perfect. Okay. So, here, that right there, that is the beam that they're using to process or upload my memories, right? That's the one that's connected to the memory, and then you can actually kind of trace it. There it goes. You could trace it, and it all connects to the same beam. Everything always connects back up here. Everything that's happening to you, it all connects right back up here. If it feels like it's going straight, it's literally just going to curve back up and go right up into the beam because it's all bulk data collection basically. And up here, that is the frequency that is the beam that they're using to basically transmit the voices or the V2K into your auditory cortex. The hearing part, the part that you actually hear, they only probably use that just for tuning your emotions or to cause pain and stuff because there's extremely low frequencies that can cause you pain, extremely high frequencies that can cause you pain. But for the most part, voice transmissions, um, the input of data, like images, thoughts, and things of that stuff. All that stuff is either going to come either through the skull, and go directly to the point, the part of the brain that they're trying to stimulate, or it's going to go through the skull and connect directly to the pineal gland. What else? What else? What else? I did that. Oh, my new baby. Okay, this one is not exactly how Tony Pentelorosco made it. So basically, this is a energy nullifying fan. Um, I didn't make it completely the way Tony did because the way he did it, I'm not all that really trusting of myself to mess with uh, electricity in the way that he does it because of whatever reason. But anyway, how he explains it is it creates a magnetic vortex. See these? These are neodymium magnets that are glued to the blades. I believe he's using a magnetic fan. I tried to find not a magnetic fan, a metal fan. I tried to find a metal fan, but couldn't really find one. So I just wanted to build my first prototype to see what happened. Basically, what you were supposed to do was this is copper coil. I just put it on the front to make it, I don't know, think that maybe it does something. Basically, what he does is this is actually, let me show you. Okay, so you see that he has the copper coil on top of the fan. He didn't have a clear video on how you make the copper coil, so I just basically, you know, just put it on top of the food, the grill like that. But the other thing is, what he did was he took one end, because it's the power cord is split into two. He took one, split it, and exposed the wires, and then took the copper, like took the open parts of the copper coil wire that's out, and he basically, you know, tied them to the taped them. He basically wrapped them around the power cables and then electrical tape, tape around them. So then there's actually a charge that's going through the copper as well. So what's supposed to happen is as the blades are spinning, right? As the blades are spinning, it's creating like a magnetic vortex, right? Um, and I forgot what he said the copper does when it's tied up to the whatchamacallit. I forgot what he says the copper is doing when it's tied up to the power cable. But I'm gonna work on that in a little bit. But for the most part, I'll tell you this though. Um, Having this fan on, it definitely reduces the V2K. I can say that for a fact, even without it, being designed exactly the way that he did it, it definitely does reduce the V2K, and it doesn't sound it. It's this is not something that's very hard to make. This was actually very easy. The only reason I didn't do the whole copper coil thing was because I didn't know how he made it, and then two, um, yeah, I didn't trust my skills of handling electricity like that. But, yeah. So basically, once this goes on, once this goes on, it's not particularly the sound of the fan that's nullifying the V2K, but it's the actual interference of the magnetic energy waves that are disrupting the frequencies, that is being beamed to your head. Because right now, as I'm doing this, I hear them say, "Oh, no, oh." That. What else I've been messing with? Oh, so I definitely had tried my hand with a lot of healing stones. Yes, I have several different healing stones. But the thing to note about my healing stones is that um, they're all absorbent of electromagnetic radiation. I'm going to tell you the list of all of the stones that I bought that are EMF absorbent. Um, but I'm also going to include in the description a list of the stones that are EMF absorbent. Um, it doesn't stop having the stones don't stop you from getting attacked because there are several ways that they can attack us. But what it does is it helps absorb some of the energy. Um, I've done things like I've taken baths with. I'm like, why does that look gold? I'm looking at my hmm, I don't know. So I got distracted. I'm like, is it turning into gold? What is this? Anyway, oh, I'm trying not to go over hour 30 because this is getting long. Okay, so oh, I'm glad I seen that picture. Definitely get this book, or at least get a book similar to this one. Why? Because you're going to. I know. Look, I'm gonna tell you one thing, man. When you're trying to find ways to save your life and trying to find ways to heal yourself, especially knowing that there's so much more things that's out here trying to cause so much harm to you and whatnot. Hey, look, healing stones, they do have some purpose and they do work. Um, it ain't no, it's not gonna be no miraculous type of thing. It's something that you have to do steady and over time. So definitely learn about healing crystals. I just thought about it. I was like, notice how in the Bible, is it the Bible or is it the? Well, it's actually the Book of Enoch. It explains how there are different crystals at the different gates of heaven, and I'm like each crystal has a particular like, and they named the crystals too, but I can't remember what all the names are. And that was something else I had on my mind too. So okay, so I bought magnetic hematite, um, unikite, UNAKITE, sodalite, amazonite, MA or AMAZONITE, tourmaline, purple fluorite, um, purple fluorite octahedron, but purple fluorite in general. Um, oh, aventurine, AVENTURINE. And then I bought this healing. Well, it was supposed to be like a shock, like a healing set for like chakra, organite, and stuff like that. So this is organite. Basically, you take this and you set it down somewhere near like electronics and whatnot, and it's supposed to help pull the harmful radiation through the center, and basically nullifying that energy, and then good energy is supposed to come out through the bottom. Then it also came with this bracelet of a sort. At least I think it's a bracelet. I wore it like a bracelet, and I shouldn't have wore it while working because I lost one of my stones. I lost one of my stones. Anyway, wearing that bracelet definitely feels like it gives me some other layer of protection. Um, what else I got for you? Oh, and just so people know, neodymium magnets are not that expensive. That's like, I think I bought like 50 for that amount, like $14. 50 of them magnets for like $14. Um, What else? What else? What else? Yeah, you can see that's Tony gluing the magnets to the fan blades. Um, trying to see what else is there for me. Oh, right. Oh, oh, yeah, I'm getting tired. You eat my dinner, and I said, nope. Let me go ahead and finish this. I gotta finish what I'm doing because I'm realizing. Oh, wait, I almost forgot about this. Clear quartz. Clear quartz is a stone that's known for actually cleansing the energy of your, I think it's your crown. Is it the crown? Oh, wait, it's in here. Clear quartz is good for cleansing. I believe it's. The higher crown. Yeah, this book is really great. It literally explains at least most crystals and what they're good for healing. Um, I was trying to see if I could find my. Yeah. Oh, must be back here somewhere. Oh, there. Okay. EMF detector. I only paid like $40 for it on eBay. Uh, very, very simple. One button turns on, and top part reads the electric field. Bottom number reads a magnetic field. I think the measurement is volts per. What is it? Volts per. I forgot what the M is for, but I forgot. And then you got for the magnetic, it reads in both micro Tesla and what is that? Micro Tesla and I said micro Tesla. Wait, no, I think I was right. Micro Tesla and milligeis. But anyway, yeah. So let's say basically it reads the radiation of you know of a device. So like let's say if I wanted to do my phone, the threshold for both electric field is 40 volts. And maybe it's a milliliter. I forgot. I really forgot. And then the magnetic field is zero point 0.4 microtesla, or I think it's either zero point 0.4 microtesla or 4.0. Yeah, 4.0 milligeis. So if I wanted to do my phone, you see, it'll. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so I mean, you get the gist of it. It basically reads the radiation from electronic devices. Now, funny thing is when the handlers get really adamant about trying to see if they could shut me up and things of that sort, They will take their, I guess, their proton beam and direct it at something that is directed at an electronic device that is already either an electronic device or something that is running on electricity, and they will increase the radiation emission of it so that it will pump out more radiation. So, like, let's say you see how my lamp is right over here. So, see how my lamp is right over here. Now, what I have experienced before was I would be standing like right here, and I would see the numbers just steadily climbing and going up. Like, let's see, I'll switch it to VPP, and as I get closer, okay, so right there, I'm not even that close to it. It's already at 6 VM. I'm like not even necessarily touching it yet. Well, hmm. No, see, I guess now because I'm definitely talking about everything that I've been doing. They're definitely trying to increase it a bit more. So you see, I'm like at least like a good 6 inches away, probably about like 10 inches away from the light bulbs, and it's already going off. Um, let's see, what else? Yeah, I suggest everyone get an EMF detector because at some point you never know when you're gonna need one. Um, I did buy a infrared gun. I bought an infrared um meter, well, infrared camera rather, and I realized it didn't necessarily capture um the energy moving in the air or anything like that. But what it did capture is it helped me understand that magnets not only just it not only just attracts energy, but it also traps temperatures. It also traps the temperature of the energy. And I found that out, or at least to my understanding. Remember, I'm not an expert at any of this, but basically what it did was I did the whole thing where I was collecting energy, blah blah blah, and I got it to a point where it felt nice and heavy. I took an ice pack and I wrapped the ice pack around the the stack of magnets. The ice pack read at about 25, 28 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Left the ice pack wrapped around the magnet for at least like a good 5 minutes. The magnet never changed from below 73 degrees Fahrenheit, even while being encased in even while being encased in an ice pack. This stack of magnets did not change from 73 degrees Fahrenheit, even while being encased in an ice pack that reads 23 degrees Fahrenheit. That's when I was like, okay, so I'm learning a lot more of the physics part of the technology because I don't really know technology, but I could learn physics faster than I could learn technology possibly. But okay, That was the devices. Now, okay, I want to come back to the Qigong, right? Now, I'm going to stress this so much because I feel like if it wasn't for me or for God lining me up to be able to find the information on Qigong, I don't know if I would still be here today. Because Qigong is you got to step away from your idea of what religion is and the different, you know, ways religions try to make everything seem so separate and oh, we do that way, this way, that way. Spirituality is exactly what it is. Spirituality. Religion is basically a structure based on a belief system. Spirituality is basically the understanding of your energy and something else that has an energy. The universe energy. Your relationship with your spirit to everything else that has an energy. And they're going crazy right now. They just keep trying to heterodyne me. And every time I do it, it's like a pinch and then it's like bloop. And then it's like as I'm holding it, like I hold it and then I let it go. Then eventually they'll start back up and shoot it right back. Anyway, I started out well watching YouTube videos. First thing they tell you to do is start out by making an energy ball, right? Now, oh mine started instantly. So first thing you're gonna learn to do is you're gonna have your hands together, right? So one thing that you learn is when you're breathing in, you're gonna feel like as you're breathing in, you're gonna feel like something is rushing in between your hands. That's energy. That is literally energy rushing in between your hands. And as you bring your hands together, you're going to feel like either energy is coming out of your hand, like because when you're expanding, you're feeling energy pool into your hands or in between your hands. You're going to feel it pool in between or in your hands. But then when you bring your hands together, you're going to feel the energy collapse out of your hands. Or if you just do it back and forth like that and rotate your hands, you can actually create an energy ball. You will feel the energy ball. Like you can literally shift it. You will feel the energy shifting in your hands, right? You can even expand it even more. You can bring it up and you will feel the weight of the energy ball in your hands. Me, I like to toss it away because I'd be like, I don't want that energy back. Go that way. I mean, all they're going to do is basically concentrate more energy that's flowing in the air and just focus it right back on your body anyway. But um, yeah, like right now, okay, they're attacking my knee, and it's like literally all in here. It's all inside of the joint. What it feels like is swelling. It feels like your knee is swollen. So what I do, right? Take my hand. I don't even necessarily have to touch my knee. I just hold it just like an inch or maybe just a couple of inches away, and I just go ahead, I add a little tension to my hand, and I start to slowly create like a gravitational pull, and then I'm pulling and pulling and pulling. Then eventually, at some point, you won't have to move your hand back and forth. You will literally have created that full magnetic connection between whatever body part that you're trying to pull the radiation from and your hand. Even better, while you maintain that connection, you could take your other hand and you will feel. So basically, what I was doing, right? So first thing you learn is okay, you can create a connection, right? You will feel the energy transferring from your knee to your palm, right? Then you'll feel the magnetism first, and then now you'll start to feel like there's heat building up in your hand. I can have my hand relaxed right now, but the magnetism and energy, the thermal heat or the heat of the energy is still pooling in my hand. I can take my left hand, and I can feel the heat of the energy coming from my knee to my palm, and then it's also going upwards too. I can press down on it, and then as I'm pressing down, I could feel my left hand kind of shifting side to side, which also means it's a beam. It's like something. It's it's a wave. It's a beam or a wave form or whatever. I could place my hand on top of it, and then when I push down even more, I could feel like the energy beam going right under my hand. Okay, hour 37. Trying to think, is there anything else that I should probably say? I don't know. I feel like I said a lot, and it's been a while since I've been able to like record like this. So I'm gonna just go ahead and let this rock out the way it is. Um, um, while I'm still alive, I'm gonna keep putting out as much as I can. I'm gonna keep, letting people know whatever they do not freak out because trust and believe. I know for many people it definitely is weird to hear a voice in your head that's not yours, but it's even more weird to realize it's your own neighbors that's doing the shit. That's even more weird. And then it's even more weird that nobody is never going to tell you exactly who it is because they don't want no smoke with whoever's doing the shit. And it's crazy because I grew up in New York City where like if anybody ever walked up on you, as long as they ain't have a gun on them, if somebody try to force you to do something that you didn't want to do, you would straight up punch them right in their mouth. Like what are you talking about? You know? But now it's so weird because it's like it seemed like everybody just gave up. Like it seems like everybody just gave up. And if you're being targeted like I am, you either did one of a few things. You either stood up for something that was right. You either live a lifestyle that whoever put you on this list or in this program, they believe that you didn't fit the world that they saw fit. Or you didn't fit into the world that they see. Um, then what else? Oh, you were probably a whistleblower or a snitch. Um, what else? Yeah, and and then the other thing is that people who tend to be, targets are usually some of the most loving and positive energy promoting people. Um, Because I mean, there's only been of quite a few TIs that I've come across who seem angry and like they just were straight up like atheist or whatever the thing is. The one thing I've learned though, the one thing that I have learned about most people who are TIs compared to those who are perps or whatever is TIs literally just never really TIs were either struggling with life, but they weren't necessarily bad people, or they were really great with connecting to people and also uplifting people and showing people how not to, like, I guess, be so overly reactionary to their emotions or whatever the case may be. Like we're the type of people who are, not materialistic, or we're people who have very strong um, moral ground, or whatever. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but I just know it's definitely a difference between someone who's targeted and then someone who's working alongside with the gang stalking secret society. Um, yeah, um, yeah. I'm gonna end on that. Because I'm getting tired. I was off today, so I'm off tomorrow as well. But anyway, yeah. Hopefully, you all will find this information useful if you watch the whole thing. I'm gonna put links to everything that I talked about in the description, so then you can read up on it. Um, because remember, I would never talk about anything that I haven't tried out myself, and I would never talk about anything that I have not actually been able to link physical or factual proof to. Um, so yeah, be aware that we are definitely in spiritual warfare, and there are people who basically lost all conceptual understanding of what a spirit truly is and whether they have one or not. Um, People gonna be mad. They gonna be mad. They gonna be mad regardless because they never really found joy in their own personal life. That's why they are working. That's why they're working alongside with all the things that's happening that's wrong with the world. Because when you ain't got joy in your life, you don't know how to function. You don't know how to function without the things that you're being told you need. We have a lot of stimulants in this world, and I know it's getting harder and harder every day to ignore every stimulation, that's out there. But at the same time, there are some things we could just be like, I can live without it. Actually, there's a lot of things we could actually just say, I can live without it. You know. But anyway, yeah. As I always say, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Smile as much as you can because you know what? The enemy loves to see you not smile. So smile even when you're in pain. Smile when they're talking junk about you. Hell, when you walk in the street and you know that that person is definitely a part of it. Smile at them anyway. Hell, you can give them a thumbs up. That's what one of my other favorite YouTube personalities would do is a guy named Deep Fake Video Rob. Man, they mess with his channel so much. He got three different channels because they kept like hacking his YouTube channel, and then they would um they would hack his YouTube channel and then basically yeah, block him from being able to log in. Several times they tried to heterodyne me, while I was making this video, but you know what? You see I'm unfazed. They've been attacking my tonsils, my throat, my chest, head. They've been hitting me all over this entire time, but you see I'm unfazed, right? Why? Because I learned two things. Accept the fact that there is wickedness and corrupted souls in this world. The faster you accept that and you learn it and you internalize it, you will not allow yourself to be afraid of the unknown, because their whole idea is to induce fear into you. And then if they can't verbally induce it into you, they'll electronically induce it into you. If they can't electronically induce it into you, then eventually they're going to start moving into less covert ways and they'll go more overt. They'll probably get people, to probably run up on you in the streets or something more. Or they'll break into your house and cause actual, physical damage to your property or whatever. Accept the fact that that's all a part of life. Accept the fact that, you know, um, we were never promised a life without pain, a life without suffering. We were never promised any of that in these bodies. In these bodies, no, we were never promised any of that. So anybody who's physically trying their hardest to live this most perfectly non-confrontational, and trust me, I tried my best to live non-confrontational life for a long time. Probably matter of fact, like the last time I ever laid hands on anybody, almost got into a fight in my freshman year in college. That's 2007. That was like the last time I almost got in a fight. That literally was the last time I almost got in a fight. But nothing happened. So I'm just like, all right. Now, you got the perp saying, he ain't going to be here that long. God, I ain't worried about what they saying, what they planning, what they plotting, what they doing. All I got to do is just keep doing what God will want me to do. That's all I gotta do. Oh, yeah, and that's something else I also learned too. Um, if you ever feel like there's a lot of pressure building up in your head, or you feel like there's a very loud tone that's persistently going on, just rub your head a little bit, because that in itself also causes some interference with the photon energy up conversion. Up conversion being, they're taking the bioelectric data. Basically, every time a neuron fires, it's sending, information in between. It's transferring information in your brain, right? Basically, what they're doing is they're using their light base laser beam to take the information that's being transferred and transfer it to their cloud, where it then goes through some type of AI machine learning decoding algorithm that then takes the image, the thought, the memory, whatever you were thinking about, and then it basically puts it on the screen. Trust me, I've definitely read the reports, and that is definitely possible. Scientists are now able to view your dreams like they're movies and your memories. But all right, yeah, that's it. Like I say, if y'all don't see me post nothing after a month, they finally got to me. um, yeah.